Hello and welcome to another episode of The Distinguished Geek. So, we're visiting another venue today. So today we are going to be visiting Bazbo Comics. Now, if you remember, a couple of weeks ago I vlogged them in Geekfest 4.0. So, we're just down here. We're going to have a look and see what they have to offer. So they've obviously been here for about, a couple of months. They've relocated, so another venue has been relocated. They've been in Truro for a while, but down a side street, and now they're in a more prominent area. So we took over an art gallery that used to be called Whistlefish, but we'll have a look. So we're coming down here now. So this is it here. As you can see, if I just turn the camera around, you can see you've got pops and comics and vinyls and stuff in there, which is really good. And this is the front of the store. So cool, Bazbo Comics. Shall we go in? Let's go in. Right, so here we go. So we're inside the entrance of Bazbo Comics. Obviously these are the back of the units in the window, but you saw them from the front when we were there. And there's their logo. Lovely. Look at these cushions. So we'll come to the entrance in a minute. Right, so here we are. So this is the main part of the shop. T-shirts, prints, amazing. Some of these prints are actually local, which is quite amazing. So, as you know, this, like I said before, it used to be a gallery. So the owner of Bazbo is friends with some of the artists, and just like when we were visiting Jabba the Hutt, one of the artists left a print for them, didn't they? So, but here we go. So these are the prints. So that middle one there, Rocket Raccoon, I believe, was done by a guy in Bodmin. Quite cool, isn't it? So Bodmin. This one here, the Venomized, was actually done by an artist in Penzance. And majority of these prints in the window down here and around the shop were done by a guy, I believe, down in Wadebridge. So all local, which is good to see. So like I say all the time, it's good to see that we're promoting the local side, of Cornwall. Once again, we always say don't forget about us. I mean, we are, as I said in Geekfest, we are just as passionate about this as everyone else is. By the way, that is part of the cathedral, a beautiful cathedral in Truro. So it's called T-shirts and comics. So absolutely loads and loads of comics. So much choice, so much for different tastes and genre, ages. As you can see, we're just going through absolutely tons and tons. Just absolutely loads, and you've got all these up here. That's so cool, isn't it? Some really retro prints and comics, and some are more recent. So you can see. And some more abstract comics than you're generally used to knowing. So obviously people people are more aware of the comics, even if you don't like comics or into the genre. People know of Marvel and DC, may not know so much of some of the characters within these companies, but you know of them. But as you can see, some of these comics are a little bit not part of the companies that you know of. So it's good to see. It's good to see a whole side of this. Some of these comics you can see are not really for kids or for the faint-hearted in a way. I mean, they are quite graphic, which is good. So it shows it's for every age. Right, just a quick note. I was just found out. So basically, do you remember early on in the channel, I did a piece on Frederick Wortham and how he was, basically saying that the comics too violent and you want them banned, and we had the massive comic burnings in America, but in the early sort of 50s and sort of that, essentially. And let's have a look. So, and we had the Comic Code of Authority. So, if you remember, they had that little piece on the top left-hand corner or right-hand corner of the comic. So, if I just bear with me. So, let's see if we can find one for you. There we are. There we are. So you can see you've got approved by the Comics Code of Authority. So that meant that, if you remember, they censored their own comics, and to show it was deemed approved to be sold. If they didn't have that, it wouldn't be allowed on the shelf, and if you remember, they were sent back to be pulped. So yeah, so that now stopped. I wasn't aware of. And if you remember, I mentioned just now about how the comics have changed, and there's some here more for adults. Well, they have their own ratings. So basically, there's no essentially what they call middle comics. So you've got comics which are for the young. Let's see if I can find one for you. I just saw one just now. Yeah, down here. So it goes on in here. So you can see on the bottom shelf, you've got all these for the younger generation, and then you kind of jump up to what we know of, which is like the Amazing Spider-Man. But there's no middle ground as such. So from there, it'll just go straight to the top shelf, as we call it, which is more of the darker series. So things like this. You can see, which is why it's on the top shelf. But like I was saying, if we look on the back of this one here, shall we say, so on the barcode, you can see it says rated T, which essentially is like it stands for teen, or very much like a PG, if anything. So they've got the new rating such as that. So yeah, that's it really. So that's a little bit of history there. I wasn't aware that the Comic Code Authority finished. I think it was like 15 years ago, I was told. So that stopped, and now it goes new ratings, so they rate themselves. But like I said, this now it essentially allows comics for the whole generation as such. There we go. Alright. Cool. And then at the back here you've got a cabinet. Now that I love. Look, Bumblebee, my favourite Transformer. Well, not that particular one there, but Bumblebee itself is going to be at the UK comic festival in Truro on the 5th of August at the Fowl Building. So I will do a post closer to the time. But yes, so go to that. So Barricade, Transformers going to be there, and Bumblebee, and there'll be some other car. DeLorean's going to be there. Back to the Future car, and also things like three-wheeler. Trotters Independent from Only Fools and Horses. So a bit of film, bit of TV shows, bit of comics. The UK Garrison's going to be there again, like you saw in Geekfest. And you've got posters. So this building is on Cathedral Lane. So it's it's a lane that cuts between two different streets. So you've got St Mary Street, which is this street here, and you've got Boscawen Street, which you can't see obviously, but it's on the other side of the alleyway, which is the main street of Truro. So if you enter either one of those streets, you'll see the lane, and it's on the top end near St Mary Street on the corner. And that would be this building. So once again, if you are in Cornwall visiting and want to pop into a comic shop, this is the one to be at. And if you're local, which we all are, come down, support it. The guys on here are so knowledgeable. They've been to Comic Cons, they've done London Comic Con in the past, and they've done other Comic Cons, so they know the stuff. So if you want any information about anything about in the comics, or I'm sure they can find information that you need to know. It's good to see. So there we go. So that's the shop itself. So bit of information about the comics. So obviously the older comics in the shop are sort of pre-owned, so it's all good. But do obviously get a weekly delivery of the new versions. So it's a taste for all as such, which is good. So they do obviously used to or have been into sort of larger Comic Cons. Like I said before, they have been to London. But because they are more of a comic, more so than where most places now you can see that they do like the pops and they do little toys. It's mainly comics, so they stay local, which is good because the local is the best. And this is why you'll be seeing them in most of the local conventions that are coming up in the future in August. So as you can see, it's a nice little space, isn't it? So seriously guys, if you are in Truro and you need any comics, then pop down to Bazbo Comics in Cathedral Lane or St Mary's Road, depending St Mary's Street I think again. But and if you need any information about this genre, then don't hesitate to come down. They're more than happy to help you. They're lovely in here, very welcoming, absolutely fantastic place. Yes. Right, so we'll have one quick look in the entrance, and then we're done. So that's Bazbo. So let's have a look around here. So as you can see, just caught something where I caught Superman flying. So we'll have a look at that when we go outside. We'll have a look, but you can see him. You can see him there. Oh, I didn't see that when I walked in. So fun, I love it. Cool. Right. So yeah, so this is like I said, Bazbo Comics, and yeah, come down and give it a gander. It's awesome. Lovely guys. Thank you for watching. Next one, I think next time you'll see me now will be at LFCC, which is end of this week, and then yes, right guys, thank you for watching. Please like, share and subscribe, and I will see you soon. Thank you. Bye bye.
The